Well, hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. I hope y'all enjoyed your Christmas season and New Year's. And now it's time to get back to work. And that means for me, back to writing. I got about 8 songs I got half written. Some of them, like I've told you previously, I've written over the years and put them in a file. And, well, it's time to get them out and get going again. I think they'll be good. Anyway, I wanted to do another behind the lyrics for my latest song, A Better Man. Kind of give you the inside scoop as to what the lyrics mean and where they came from. So this one here is about a better man. And I don't know if you've heard it yet, but if you haven't, I think I'll put a link at the end of this video and let you go over and see it. Listen to it. And like it. You got to like it and then share it, because that's how it works. I'm learning all this stuff in this huge learning curve on how all that works. But anyway, well, let's start with A Better Man. And the song starts out with, listen, my Big Daddy Joe loves the ladies, never stayed around too long. Now, who's Joe? Joe is my granddaddy. And I have spent some time with some family and friends of mine, and they have gave me the inside scoop as to old Joe. And old Joe got around, from what I understand. He had about 16 to 18 kids, depending on who you talk to. And he was married 4 times, I believe. And he's his nickname that most of the family gave him is Big Daddy. So I went with Big Daddy, and that's who he is. He's my granddaddy. Now, I didn't know much about him, just like the song said. But anyway, he spread his seed down through the South, kept the family bloodline strong. That he did. And that's where that came from. And I never learned much about him, about the man, if he was cruel or if he was kind. I didn't know anything about the guy. My daddy didn't really talk about him much. And when he did, it wasn't all that good. I guess the best thing, if you don't have a lot of good things to say about somebody, you just don't talk about them. But I do know that he was, he kind of had a big ego. And that's one of the things that was on my to-do list, on checking myself and trying to do away with it as much as I could, letting it get out of hand. You know, that's a problem I think most of the people have today. If they get upset, if they get offended, it's that ego. It's like, it's telling them, how dare you say that about me, or whatever. And I think that's, if we can put a lot of that away, I think that'd probably solve half of the problems today. You know, when you approach people and they say stuff that upsets you or whatever, don't let it affect you personally. Know thyself. And if you're not that way, if you didn't have that intention, then just let it roll right on off of you. But anyway, a lot of times people don't, and then they let that ego get out of hand. They get upset, and they get into fights, and they start family squabbles, and we ain't talking to you no more because you voted for somebody, and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, so he had a big ego. And my daddy said, you know, now you can start right there. He said, know thyself, and get rid of that overzealous ego, and half your problems will go away. Anyway, I never learned much about the man, if he was cruel or if he was kind. Just the words my daddy handed down like a map to my own mind. He knew me better than anybody, and I guess that's something that dads do. Good dads. They know their kids. And he knew me, and he let me know that. So he never let go of his ego, and he talking about Big Daddy Joe. He kept on chasing one more dawn. He just, Big Daddy was a rolling stone, like that old song says. And then it goes into the chorus. Gotta let go of my ego. Cut back on the 6-packs late at night. Well, there was a time in my life where, you know, I'd stay out, I'd drink some 6-packs, and I'd probably wasn't the best thing, you know. So that was one of my things that I needed to kind of cut back on. And quit smoking them crooked cigarettes. Well, I won't go too much into that on YouTube. But crooked cigarette, well, some people know what that is and some people don't. But anyway, take it for what it is. Try to be a better man by morning light. There was a good write-up on my song. I think I listed it in the community section of my YouTube channel. And she definitely got it. It was kind of like a late night confession, more or less, the song when it came to me. By the way, I wrote this song. It was not one of those that I've had half written over the years. I wrote this song, I would say, in about a week and a half. And just recently, I took a trip up to the Smoky Mountains, and I just had these lyrics pop up in my head as I was waking up about 4:30 in the morning. And I'd write a few down, and then I'd go back to sleep, and I'd sleep another hour or two. I'd have some more, and I'd write it down. And then over about a week's time, I said, I've got a song here. And I wasn't even working on this song. A Better Man was not what I was working on. I'm still working on the song I was working on. I've gone back to it. But A Better Man was just written. It just popped up. And anyway. So anyway, back to the verse 2. It says, didn't think those words would fit me when I was young and running free. Love making on my mind, hell raising came as natural as breath to me. Well, that's just youth and growing up and things that's on your mind when you're in your 20s and 30s and sometimes into your 40s. And, well, that's kind of the way I didn't think much about it. Till one dawn I rolled back home with guilt driven every mile. Now this this verse here is kind of funny. I was out with my good buddy John. We were we went downtown Mobile, and we were hanging out one night, and we thought, well, let's ride up, let's go somewhere. Well, where were we going to go? It was about 10 o'clock at night. And said, well, let's head over to the Flora-Bama. Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll go up there. And for some strange reason, we thought that the Flora-Bama was open 24 hours. We didn't know they closed down. I think around 1 or 2, maybe midnight. I forgot exactly what time they closed. But anyway, we took off and we got there and we rolled up and we were getting off our bikes and we were about to walk in. And there's a guy coming out and he said, where y'all going? He was an employee. We said, well, we're going into Flora-Bama. He said, no, you're not. We're closing up. I think that this was on Wednesday because that's kind of when we would ride. And we said, we're closing up? What do you mean we're closing up? Oh, yeah, we close up. So I guess it was around maybe midnight. And I said, well, okay. Well, I know where we'll go. There's another place. If you know the area, it's over off Canal Street. The Keg. The Keg was always a late night bar. We could go in there and have a couple of drinks. And, so I said, I know where we'll go. We'll go over there. So we drove up to the Keg. We got there about 12:30. And guy walking out turned off the sign. Or we had the impression he was closing up. I said, what's going on? Y'all closing? Yeah, we close this Wednesday. We don't have nobody here. We're going to go ahead and close up early. Well, we're darn. We drove all the way over here, which is about an hour on the motorcycle, about an hour and a half maybe from Mobile. And I said, well, is there any place open? I said, oh, yeah, there's this place down the road off of County Road 12. They stay open 24 hours. Y'all can go there. So we get back on our bike and we rode over there. And sure enough, they were open. We went in. There wasn't but maybe a handful of people in there. And we talked to them a little bit and had a drink or two and talked and just got to laughing and just enjoying some fellowship there. Some late nighters, people that are on shift work, sometimes they want to just go somewhere and there's never a place open, and there's a couple people up in there. And so anyway, we got to talking, and I think, time got away from me. And I remember walking outside, and I said, it's about time we go, John. Now, John's single. I'm married. So, I can't just do as much as he can. And not that, my wife is very, very nice and accommodating, and she knows I'm not out doing nothing wrong. I'm with John, so she don't really worry that much about that. In fact, she don't worry at all about that, about me doing something, wrong. But, well, let me continue. I looked up and I saw that the sun was coming up. I could see it just starting to kind of, the horizon was starting to glow orange a little bit. And I'm like, holy crap, I got to get home. Yeah, so I'm driving home. And that's where that came from. Till one dawn, I rolled back home with guilt driven every mile. I was like, golly. Now, when I got there, the next verse, there she stood with quiet thunder in her eyes, a pleading smile. My wife was standing at the door, and she gave me that look that you hear me talk about. And it said everything. Didn't think those words would, let me go back. It says, there she stood with quiet thunder. In her eyes, a pleading smile. That look said it plain between us. No language left to borrow. I knew exactly what that looked like. And tonight's the night for changing course, or we'll both pay with sorrow. Well, she told me, don't you ever do that again. And the main thing is, I didn't call her to let her know I was okay. So she was kind of worried. I was bad. But I want to be a better man. That's why I wrote this. So anyway, I didn't do that no more. And I told John, I said, I got in trouble. He laughed. He said, yeah, probably should have called her and let her know you was all right. And I said, well, time got away from me. No excuse. No excuse. I'm in trouble. Anyway, she forgave me. But no, I didn't ever do that again. So that's where that came from. That look said it plain between us. No language left to borrow. Tonight's the night, changing course, or we'll both pay with sorrow. And then it goes back into the lyrics again. And, the chorus. I'm reading it here. So, try to be a better man. Lay those wild, fast nights to rest. Yep, wasn't doing that no more. Hold your woman when she's crying. Well, my wife doesn't cry too much. I'm not that bad. But anyway, it sounded good in the lyrics. And it rhymed, so I put that in there. Do my best to be a better man. So anyway, goes on, lifestyles change and seasons turn. The road did me real well. But the miles took their toll on hearts, and silence learned to tell. Traded two-wheel thunder for a camper and a truck. Chasing fun bunch laughter now instead of chasing luck. I'll give you a little insight on that. Yeah, I sold my motorcycle, and I may get one later if my family will allow me to, which they tell me I am forbidden to have another motorcycle because of all these wrecks and everything. And it is scary. And, of course, I lost my good friend John to a wreck. And it's not really the riders that are bad drivers. It's the people around you. But, yeah, and so I sold the old motorcycle, and what I did was I decided to kind of go more of a family route and got me a camper, and that camper needed a truck to pull it, so I got me a truck. And I never really owned it. Well, I did own a truck a long time ago, but not like a big pickup truck, So I got me a big pickup truck, and so the part about chasing fun bunch laughter now instead of chasing luck. Well, my family is known as the fun bunch. Our kids and now our grandkids. And that's kind of our family name that we gave ourselves a long time ago, the fun bunch, because I try to make things fun and do things and vacations and have time together and whatnot. So I kind of diverted my late night run around into a more of a family oriented thing where I would go camping and just do more stuff at home. And so I go back into the chorus again, and then the verse 3, it says, I miss the wild ways sometimes, rolling up memories like smoke. And I do. I think about, that was fun times, and riding around and just being free and enjoying the road and meeting people and doing our little day trips and sometimes night trips like I did, but I got in trouble. Anyway, so yeah, I miss those days sometimes, but I tell you what makes it worth it, and that's the next verse. But mornings with my grandkids, calling Pop. I'm Pop now. I really like that. And they come in and they like, Pops! And they run up to me and hug me and tell me how much they love me. I spend a lot of time with them. I really love those grandchildren. And I got a couple more on the way this month, or due this month, and then end of this month and first of next month. We don't know exactly when, but they're due. We got 2 more coming, a boy and a girl. So yeah, I spend a lot of time with them, and it's really what I want to do now. So it's funny how, as you get older, things change. Just like I said, seasons change and they turn, and so do you a lot of times. So that's kind of what I do now. I spend time with my grandkids and enjoy every minute of that, and have no regrets on that whatsoever, and especially when they come running, Pop. That's the life I chose. Their little hands and open hearts healed more wounds than I could mend, made me understand the meaning of the man I want to be again. That's true. And that's where it came from. So anyway, I go back into the chorus and kind of repeat it a few times. I did miss, I meant to say one verse in here, and I guess I skipped over it. It says, say yes when my wife, what is it? Because I kind of wrote that down in there. Thought she'd get a kick out of that. My my wife, she has some honeydews for me every now and then, so I do them. But a lot of times she'll say something like, "Would you fix this?" or "Can I do this?" and I'll say, "Yeah." And I'll make excuses sometimes. And she said, I just would love it if you just would say yes. Just say yeah. Instead of, well, I got to do this, or I'll get to that after that, or something. She said, I would really love it if you just said yes. So that's the part here. It's on the first chorus. It says, just say yes when my honey needs me. I wrote that in there for her. Yes. She said, well, will you do that? Yes. Oh, it just makes her feel so good. Yes. No argument. No ifs, ands, and buts. Just yes. So I wrote that in there for her. So that's about it on this one, A Better Man. That's kind of where it all came from. So you know that it's real. It's not AI generated. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on YouTube talking about that. And I know people like myself who are lyrics and they write songs. They're out there like me, and they don't have the money and all to go hire a sessions band and a studio. I mean, that can get expensive. And they've got these songs written down, and they're good songs, and the world needs to hear them. And with the technology out today, it makes it possible where you can make a demo. And that's where this started. It started off with me just making a demo and trying to get it out there. And maybe somebody will hear it that has a big name, big band, and it's not uncommon for that to happen. Half the songs that are written are sung by other people. And, these Elvis Presley, he only wrote a couple songs. The rest of them he bought. So anyway, um, I want people to know I wrote these. These are real, and they're not AI generated. So when you hear them, they came from a real place. And I try to stick with things I know, stuff that are really happening in my life, and write them down. So anyway, a better man. I'm going to be a better man, and I'm doing my best. So I hope you are too in this new year. If there's something that you think you could improve on, maybe write it down and be conscious of it and give it your best go. And that's, you start with yourself. You want to change the world? You start with yourself. And this is a perfect song for New Year's resolutions, so to speak. That's it. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of the year. I'll have some more stuff out. I'm working on some songs, and I'll let y'all know when I get them done, and I'll kind of give y'all maybe an insider before I release it, kind of so you'll know to expect it. But anyway, that's it. Y'all take care. We'll see you soon.